Welcome, everybody, to the Loud and Drunk podcast. This is Dan, joined once again by Moses. He's taking a break from resting his head on that pillow made of concrete. Moses, when you have thoughts, do they arrive like butterflies?
Yeah, it's the same as when they come into my stomach. They call that love. And
by come into your stomach, what do you mean?
Very interesting.
I ran out of socks.
Oh, wow. This is all right.
I retract my interjection.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to know now. It's a weird thing.
But no, continue talking.
Another weird thing that happened, Justin, is that Zoom called back its workers in one of the biggest acts of hypocrisy that you can imagine.
Wild. Absolutely wild. I don't really have to deal with that type of shit, but it's by the nature of what you do, and you call back your workers full time? Amazing. Let's get into this shit.
And I am Sweetback. Very happy to be here. Hello, and welcome.
Sweetback?
Yes.
Okay.
Most people just call me Sweet.
Do I say the whole... Oh, I don't have to say the whole...
No, you can just say Sweet.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Do you respond to sweetness?
I will, yes. Yeah.
Right.
For the purposes of this podcast, yeah, I will.
What about Backy?
No, that's insulting to me and my people.
You're welcome.
Interesting.
I got more.
No. You can call me by my full name. Sweet back to you. Everyone else can call me Sweets. I'll take whatever you're putting out, Dan.
And I'd also like to welcome back to the program, we have Pat. Pat, for the people that haven't heard your episode, would you mind reintroducing yourself to our audience?
Well, hi there, I'm Patrick Washano, and I am very, very pleased to be the first ever guest to be welcomed back to this program, right? First time you've ever had anyone.
I guess you're the first one. Welcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
And listen to those sultry tones, man. He really gets you right
I love
down
that. He has a soft voice.
It's
and I
so-
love
it's
that,
so
yeah.
beautiful.
It's melodic to listen to.
Oh, is that not the time now?
I don't know what you're fapping off. What the fuck was that?
I found a sock on the ground.
Rubbing one out real quick.
Did you hear
while you
that voice?
polish off your fucking handle of goddamn Modelo's? Jesus Christ.
You know, we're a little early into the podcast for you to be trying to hit the YouTube censors, right? Like,
right into the masturbation.
Give us the first couple minutes of clean.
Yeah.
All right.
Right out of the gate.
I guess that was my bad.
Yeah. Even the cat is disgusted.
Oh.
the cat should be disgusted. But what you shouldn't be disgusted about is our sponsor. Anytime is a good time for stopping by TrueJersey.com. From t-shirts, hats, and hoodies, True Jersey will show off your local pride like no other. And now, Loud and Drunk listeners can save 10% off their first order. Just go to TrueJersey.com and enter the code LOUD at the checkout to save 10%. Thank you to True Jersey for sponsoring the program. True Jersey, stay true.
Word.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but it sounds great.
It's
Does the cat like it?
Clothing. Yeah, they make cat clothing, I think.
They make cat clothing?
Yes.
I'm way into that.
It might be
this.
made out
I
of
was
cats,
never into cats before, but this cat that you guys have here at this bar is...
He's the bartender.
He's meowing at me right now. It is shockingly cute.
He makes the most
Just don't make
perfect
eye
drinks.
contact.
I'm trying not to, but he's kind of like...
You're failing
he's,
miserably.
he's looking around. He's looking for the eyes, and it's tough. I don't know what to do.
Dan, take us through, please.
Yeah, do something.
Yes, what are we doing?
Get this cat out of here.
I'm not responsible for the cat.
I don't know. Who is then?
The cat is my co-producer.
He really is.
Is that why he's staring at me? Am I fucking up right now?
He's trying to get you to emote, goddammit.
I don't know how to emote. I am Christian Haydenson.
will.
Christensen? What is my name?
Hayden
Be careful.
Christensen. Jesus.
He will climb over to this bar and assault you.
I believe that. Yeah, he's got some
Dan,
long
he's actually
teeth
carrying
there.
you. Why are you here if we have the cat?
Well, because he can't read the ad reads.
He doesn't have the thumbs for it.
And in the spirit of the ad reads, I'd like to take this time to encourage you to subscribe to this podcast. We are on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to our channels, smash that like button, leave us a comment, share this video with your friends, and get in on the conversation and join us on social media. We are at Loud and Drunk on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Let's get started, gentlemen. This will probably be the second time we play this game. It's kind of screw the guest.
Yes.
So, Sweetness,
Yes,
the ball is in your court to kick us off.
What are we talking about? Books? Man, I got some opinions about that.
What are books?
Books are a villainous thing. It's something that I feel very passionate about. I knew that Pat was going to be gracing us with his presence today. And
You too.
I know you have something of an affinity for them, but I actually feel very passionately in the other direction. I think that more or less that books are one of the big things that have been hurting our society for too long. And I kind of arrived at this conclusion in the past week. I've been watching the news for the first time in ever. I'm not a big news guy, but I've been watching the news and I see what's happening. There's a war happening in, I don't know if it's China or Ukraine or Russia or something like that. There's a war that's going down.
You kind of got the gist.
Yeah, there's a war that's going down. America obviously has people that don't want us to, be about Christ and just treating people decently. There's a lot of dictatorships in the world.
Are you from Utah, sir?
No.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm from Iowa.
Treating it decently here.
But I obviously, like I assume most of you, and this is why I'm here, I live in a world where people treat each other right, with respect and what have you. And upon listening to what's happening in the world today, I keep coming back to one thing. And that's the literature that's out there. It's the books. People are being guided by these things. And I don't know exactly what they are, but what I can tell you is that people are making decisions, violent decisions, hurting other people because of things that they've read in books. And I told Dan this before I came on the show. This is actually the thing that I want to talk about, that I want to make this world a better place. And I want to see a better version of humanity for my children and my children's children, and for cats around the world, dogs, all the things, for Dan, for your kids, for everybody. And when I look at what's going on, it keeps going back to the same thing, that all of these evil people committing crimes around the world. I'm told that it's Putin. I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay. I'm glad somebody told you that.
He runs a country somewhere. And then you've got other people. And I don't know if it's people in this country. Apparently it's everywhere. But people are reading these books, and what they're getting from it is evil. They're getting tyranny. They're learning how to hurt other people. And I did do a little bit of research on this, but I would love to hear everybody else's opinions.
So I just want to first of all, thank you, Sweet.
You're welcome.
For being here.
Yeah.
Just to distill down your books are bad.
Books are bad. Books are bad. I have, from the research that I've done, and I've spent some time since I learned about this about a week ago, the research that I've done on books is that a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people are learning basically
dangerous ideas.
Dangerous ideas. They're learning terrible things, and then they're acting upon it. Not only are they gaining that from these books that they're reading, they're teaching them how to do this, but they're acting upon it.
Oh my God.
I even went back. I went back multiple decades. Wow. And I found that there was books as far back as 100 years ago.
That long?
100 years ago. And there are people acting on these books.
I mean,
and they're killing other people because of it. It's not a joke.
An incredibly nefarious plot.
It does seem that way. And I don't know if there's like a Mr. Book out there who's doing it. I was not able to uncover that. But what I can tell you is that people are writing these books, and then other people around the world who might otherwise be decent human beings, they're being coaxed into this by this literature.
Is this part of the globalist agenda?
I honestly, I have to assume that it is, but I cannot confirm that. I don't want to say anything that I don't know for a fact. But what I can tell you for a fact from my research is that in just the past 100 years, millions and millions and millions of people have lost their lives from books. And honestly, when I learned this, it's something that I never really thought about. I honestly never thought about books before, but and I don't want to get too far into it before you guys are able to give your answers.
I'm going to cut you off soon,
please,
so really get to the point here.
The point is that the literature that's out there, these books that people are writing, they lead to the deaths of people, innocent people, all over the world. Good Christian people, people of all faiths, all colors.
All the faiths, all the colors.
All of the things, all the genders, so on and so forth.
Wow.
These people are being murdered because of things that they read in books. Now, I've never read a book in my life, right? And that's why
thank you for being honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I never saw the value in it personally, but the research that I did, it showed that. I mean, and this is factual.
You got 15 seconds left, so please wrap it up.
People are dying from books, and I think that somebody needs to do something about that. I don't hear it talked about on the news, not on Fox, not on CNN, not anywhere. No one is talking about this tragedy. Tell me what you think.
Okay. Well, listen. Excellent first salvo in this argument. Our favorite guest here, representative of Big Book, Pat.
You work for Big Book?
Hey.
Sorry.
Not your turn. Pat, do you have a rebuttal?
Well, I suppose you could say that I work for Big Book. For over a decade, I have worked at the largest trade publisher in the world. I'm not going to name them.
No. Let's not dox ourselves.
I can only assume that they publish Mein Kampf.
There's two Patrick Guachinos in this entire world. One of them works in books and the other one doesn't.
Wow, you actually fully doxed yourself. Good job.
I guess he'll be here next week since you're out of a job.
And honestly, I think you're absolutely right.
Wow.
Every single way that you could imagine killing another person has probably been described in a book. There's no way to prove that there isn't a direct correlation between the publication of a description of how to kill somebody and the actual event of somebody dying. Even somebody dying in a car accident. I can name dozens of books right off the top of my head where people just die in car accidents.
My God.
So I'm not going to say that you're not onto something.
Thank you.
All I'm going to say is that I think that your ideas personally endanger my well-being and my ability to provide for my family. So,
Wow. Direct attack.
No, that's a different angle of it.
I mean, that is fair. Because of my Christian beliefs, I would never want to bring that upon you. And now I feel very guilty about it. But at the same time, how do we handle it?
Well, I could tell
What
you.
do we do about books?
Let's go to our correspondent out in the street, Moses.
I can tell you who's behind it. It's Pepsi. See, back in the 80s, they had this little thing with Pizza Hut, and it was called Book It, and they got the kids to read a whole lot. You get free pizzas, you get stickers, you get all kinds of fun things. And that raised a generation that just wants to kill each other because they want the pizza because they read the books.
you know what the real...
Oh my God, that makes sense.
I don't know if anyone's had Pizza Hut pizza lately.
Not lately, no.
Not lately.
been a
It is
few years.
nothing like what it was. So I imagine that people are desperate for that pizza and that experience
I could see
of
that.
what Pizza Hut was in the 80s.
I would kill for it.
The closest thing to Pizza Hut I get
How
now
many books
is...
would you read and then kill somebody for?
Okay, thank you. I was about to try to bring it back, but
Probably 5.
well, shit.
Can I kill people too?
I will say that working in the publishing industry, the Book It promotion is referenced so many goddamn times
Oh my God.
that you would think it just ended last week.
When did that end?
They ran it in the 90s.
Yeah, I was about to say sometime in the 90s.
In fact, I think
Literally 30 years ago.
I do think that they revived it a few years ago because like places like BuzzFeed would just like run these articles where it was like,
that
hey,
sounds
remember
nostalgia.
this? Here's a thing that you remember. Everybody loved Pizza Hut. Remember what their lamps looked like and their
So then I have a question.
You can the
So
glasses at the bar around the corner.
All right, we got a question coming in from Mr. Sweet's side.
is the enemy Pizza Hut?
Could
Are
be.
they the ones who are promoting
let's
this
go
reading?
back to Demolition Man when they won. It was Pizza
Taco
Hut.
Bell.
It was Taco Bell, but
Well, they won the fast food wars. yeah.
overseas,
Big movie guy.
when it came out, it was Pizza Hut.
Oh,
because
that is
nobody
fair.
knew
I
what a
believe
Taco
that- I
Bell
believe
was
that was right. Yeah,
outside
yeah,
of
yeah.
America.
You know, I'll say that I think that late Gen X and millennials are probably the ones that were influenced by the Book It promotion. So who is doing most of the killing on this planet
This
right
is
now?
a fair point.
Do we think that it's boomers? I don't know. I think they're retired. Gen
I feel like
Xers.
pretty old
boomers
now.
had
Yeah.
their time and they did enough of their own killing.
I mean, I'll say this. I mean, like Obama and Bush and Trump and so on and so forth. All of our presidents. Those are they boomers? I don't know. What are they?
Yeah, I think they're boomers.
Did they read? Is that where they got these ideas?
I mean, Obama certainly isn't Gen X, right?
I'm sorry.
I can see him being Gen X.
We
now.
no longer elect people outside of their 70s now, so
Yeah.
I think it's pretty fair.
Geriatric people know what's best for us, so I'm just going to ask you to dial that
And like,
back.
listen, that's on both sides of the goddamn shitty aisle. So
Yeah, I mean, and those people all outsource all of the murdering that they do
Yeah.
to other generations.
I mean, listen. First of all, Biden
Except
is a very
Vladimir
young
Putin. He's
age.
killed everyone with his bare hands. He was on that plane.
Oh,
Yep.
he's taking that Reagan approach.
He did it. He did it.
He did it.
Yeah, that was great.
He got on that plane. He exploded.
Yeah. All
right,
And he
so-
said, "Get off my plane."
So which generation do we think kills the most people right now?
Oh, that's a great question.
TikTok has
Yeah.
killed a lot of people just from all these silly challenges, which are fun to watch. But
what generation are we?
Those people killed
I
themselves.
know it's always so
Yeah, but
there's
they're
no
still-
actual-
They killed themselves.
people are people.
So are we, our age group, we all generally grew up, I mean, Moses, the old man of the group, but
He was born in 72.
Of the 1800s.
1770. Oh, Don't be modest.
I had some work done.
Shut up.
No, it doesn't look like it.
So, like, as best as I can tell, we are on the elder part of the millennial.
Geriatric millennials, I believe, is the popular term.
I kind of like that name.
They added that?
Yeah, they did. Like
nice.
they put geriatric on it.
Oh, cool.
I got a lot of gray, so that makes sense.
Who did it? Probably the boomers.
But I mean, I think so. What's behind us? These TikTok kids,
Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Are they reading?
Oof.
I have seen some that have words on the screen, so there's small blurbs, but
I have faith that they can read.
there's also the comments.
All right.
I will say that they are reading. Like probably the number. God, now I'm just going to go into serious book talk.
Oh, here we go.
But yeah, the number one driver of fiction right now in this country is TikTok.
I'm not really surprised by that.
Yeah,
no thanks to Book It.
No thanks to Book It. These children have never experienced Book It. I feel like
That's sad for them.
Yeah.
If they had, then Pizza Hut would be the biggest social media company in the world.
Also, another thing that's going to
Hey, it
age
might
me.
be the way the stock market goes. You can't rule that out.
Once they hear this
They're a tech
episode,
company tomorrow.
I'm gonna
As
age
soon as
myself.
the CEO hears this,
They got to be better at it than they are at pizza right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna age myself. I have Pizza Hut ashtrays at home.
oh, that's
Oh
awesome.
shit! Really?
Yeah, I do.
what are you, fucking 60?
Oh, well, I mean, I always like to steal things.
That's fair.
Literally this week off of eBay, I gained a complete set of the Batman Forever McDonald's mugs.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, those corporate themed things are.
I used to have all the the 92 Dream Team cups when McDonald's was doing that.
Oh, I hate that I know what you're talking about.
They were so good to drink out of. You can fit so much alcohol in it. They're like 64. They were like a big gulp, essentially.
Yeah.
You get
It's
this
an American phenomenon.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what. Let's break it into reality a little bit here now. Like, I'm going to say my point. I think books are good. Dangerous books are good. And we're living in a world where some people want to ban some of the most innocuous books available, all in the vein of protecting the children.
Well, that's absolutely what I think we should be doing. We should be protecting the children.
Okay, so this is your foundation.
This is
Protect
my
the children,
foundation. Yeah, I completely
From
disagree with
dangerous
you.
ideas.
Yeah, that if you instill these ideas in children by allowing them to read in the first place, then now all of a sudden this information is available to them and they might want to be that thing. So you can give a kid a book and it's about like gay communists who want to destroy America.
So you're
and now
talking
they
about
wanna be
what
that.
happened with like Calvinism and stuff back in the day. Yeah, I got
Right.
it.
And that's not appropriate. That's not appropriate. Because I'll tell you about another little book that did the exact same thing. It was called Mein Kampf.
Oh, yeah.
I could have sworn you were going to say the Bible.
The Bible is different from the other books because that book was actually written by God. And while I will say that some people misinterpreted that and we did get the Crusades out of it, and that's not necessarily right.
It is also too sexy for Utah right now, but we'll get at that into another episode down the road.
It's a sexy fucking
there
book,
pictures
and
of
I'm not
that thing?
ashamed to say that. It's a sexy book. The Bible is sexy to me, right? It gets me a little bit going in the loins.
What parts? What's the sexiest part of the Bible?
It's got to be Sodom
It's
and
your
Gomorrah.
the
fact that
sexiest sex
Jesus
shit.
was Jewish as a Jew, then it.
Yeah, for me, it's Ezekiel. I think is the sexiest part
That's
of the
fair.
book.
I would take that.
I'm all about
absolutely. I've seen
Deuteronomy.
Pulp Fiction. I know all about Ezekiel. Yeah, no, I think that's all of the parts of the Bible are the best part. They're the sexiest part. It's a book that was written by our God, and it gave us all of the information that we needed.
Presumptuous.
And some people interpret that poorly. And they go on their escapades and what have you. But when we're talking about these books that are written by people, right? Just regular books. Like you go to a
Mankind.
library, they're filled with these books about killing, about murder, about all these bad things, transsexual people, so on and so forth.
Wow.
These things.
Salacious.
Yeah, it is salacious. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know what that word means because I'm not much of a reader, but I can only assume that word means bad. And I agree. I agree with you, Justin. I think that that's exactly what we need to wipe out. That's
All of
the
it.
problem. That's exactly. Yeah. There's one good book, and we all know the good book that I'm talking about, right? But other than that, It just seems to be, what was the word? Salacious? Salacious. It seems to be salacious to me. It's bad. It's bad books. And I don't want bad books for our kids.
Wow.
For all of our kids. It's wrong. It's wrong to kill people. And because I'm against killing people, I'm against books.
Okay, your time's up again. Moses, how do you feel about bad books?
I mean, I like using the word salacious because it sounds so sexy. That's kind
Don't
of
be
the
a
definition. It's sexy. But I never really liked books. They were too long. Just too long. It's like,
Movies
just get
are
to
a
the
lot
point.
shorter. Yeah.
I'm
not
calling
getting
you
a
a
movie in 2
hypocrite
hours.
real soon if you don't get in line.
How many pages should a book be?
3, 4 tops.
3 or 4?
Yeah.
It's like
Get
a
your point
pictograph.
across. Like, what are we doing? Why are we even here?
I only read haikus.
I was going to say,
What is it, 16 syllables?
The Egyptians just gave us pictures. It was like a bird and then like a
Hieroglyphs.
Perfectly
a
fine.
horn,
Yeah.
You know, and then you're good. And that's it. And it's like 3 pictures and
That's
you're
all-
just like, yeah, got it.
Yep, we
You know?
got it here.
And that's
Here we
cool.
are.
Like,
That's
I don't
all
know
you
why
need.
we need to go beyond that. Why does everything have to be so extreme for people? Where we need to, like, it's something that could be as simple as a bird and a horn and then a boat. And it's just 3 pictures, and you put them next to each other.
I mean, it
and
really
now
gives
we
you
all
the
know what that
truly
is.
distilled down.
Exactly.
Again, I'll go
Distill it
with
down.
my Pepsi
Why do I
argument.
need your politics with it? Why do you need to make it into multiple pages? Why do you need to give me your belief system about something when what we're really just trying to do is trying to like have a nice life, just have a society? Why do we need to kill? Why is that a thing? Why are we writing these books about fascism, about communism, and ways to kill people? All of these terrible things. Like, I think that everybody agrees with me on that.
I want to-
Why are we killing people?
Sweet.
Why are we
Sweet.
killing people? Yeah.
I love your passion.
Thank you.
You are so resolute
Yeah.
in your argument.
I believe in it. Yeah.
So let's play an
I'm a
interesting
people
game.
person.
If you had to be the devil's advocate to your argument,
Yes.
what would you say?
As far as defending books in some way?
Yes.
I feel like I already mentioned it. There is a great book out there. It's the book for me. And I think that it does tell us how we should be treating other people. And I
Yeah.
don't think that I need to name the book.
Howard Stern, Private Parts.
Ooh. You're so close. You're so close. Yeah. I will count that one. But no,
See
I
a
think
crack
that
in the chink of that armor.
some books have their worth. And I will acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But I mean, once again, it's that the greatest book that was ever written, besides Donald Trump's autobiography, which I'm still reading before he wrote it. But
Yeah.
I'm reading it in my mind because I can imagine how it goes, and it feels.
I
right
imagine
to
it's
me.
incredibly verbose.
It's delightful. I don't know what this word means because I don't read very much, but no, I think that there are good books that are religious that are about the way in which we should be treating other people decently. You know, not going to kill them. It's not Mein Kampf. It's not a book on fascism. It's not the Communist Manifesto. It's not something written by Karl Marx.
Wow, okay, all right.
It's not Mao Zedong's little red book about how we should
Tough read.
suppress other people. These are the books that I'm talking about as far as being evil. And this is the type of literature that I think really destroys the essence of humanity, which is that human beings are decent people. Like, everybody has a good soul to them. They have a way of viewing the world and treating other people in a good way, and that's how people naturally are. But then we get these, and I will go so far as to say, evil people who write these books that teach other humans. Right?
Sweet, you got
It's
15 seconds left on the
propaganda,
clock. Finish
basically.
up your argument.
It's propaganda. Books are propaganda to make decent people into bad people. And that's how you get World War II. It's how you get genocides. It's how you get the Holocaust, and so on and so forth. These things wouldn't have happened without books.
5.
It really
That's all I've
Done?
got to
Okay,
say.
very good.
I
Back to Patrick for his rebuttal.
God, I will concede that it sucks that every evil motherfucker that has ever ruined this planet getting into politics wrote a book before doing it. And like
A lot of books
a
out
lot
there.
of them were bestsellers. It really sucks that like every fascist before they take office decides to publish a bestseller.
I'm glad you agree with me.
It's a hard point to argue against when you look at the bestseller list every month. I'll just say that certain people of political affiliations in this country, if they don't read the books, which doesn't seem like they do, they certainly buy them for some reason. Or at least we have a whole system in place where they just buy them back to make them appear like bestsellers. But I certainly won't say that isn't something that is being engaged with frequently.
No. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
It's weird when you can look at the numbers that books actually sell and then say, that doesn't seem like it should be on the bestseller list compared to this other book.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about.
You guys have both made excellent arguments, but I'm gonna break the kayfabe a little bit and just say my piece here. Listen, don't ban books. Read everything that's dangerous. Get the dangerous ideas, and if you're afraid your children will be like dissuaded by something, do a better job of teaching them how to face the world.
It really is a huge problem right now, how many book bannings are going on and how they're going about. And personally, I feel very passionately about states that are currently engaging in book banning and how many state legislatures seem to think that this is just politically advantageous, which is even scarier than them even trying to go about it.
It's tough.
I will say, I've like this is Drunken Loud, and I have had a few. I have had a few spaghettis.
Coming back again.
Yeah. But yeah, it sucks because we as publishers and people who put books out into the world do need to engage in multiple fights at the same time. And we only have so many resources to do it. I mean, it's, at the end of the day, like, yes, we are publishers and we are companies and we have people who own us, who we have to answer for, and we have to allocate our resources in responsible manners, and we only have so much. So having to engage in political action in states like Tennessee and Florida, and Texas, all at the same time, it is a huge stretch because the way that this country operates is that you have to fight all of these battles in all of these different battlegrounds just to win this, like, the bigger picture. And it sucks. It's the same way that guns work in this country, where in the reality of it, we have to operate as a society by the lowest common denominator.
I just want to chime in. I do love guns because they have not killed nearly as many people as books. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm glad we keep bringing terrorists on as guests. Sweet. Add them to the list, baby.
Now I can do the YouTube thing, right?
There you go. That is clear. That is clear. But listen, if I have my little point of contention here, I kind of float between parties. But the last thing I want to see is fucking information being banned to the public. And fuck all protecting the children. You, who is in charge of these children, adult, guardian, whatever the case may be, parent. It should be your job to raise them to face what exists in the world, not to hide them from everything that exists out there.
Right.
I fully believe in that.
If you believe as a parent that, you have the absolute good in you, you know the way of society and the absolute truth of it, and you want to convey that to your child, and you can't do it better than any given book, maybe that is telling of the stance of your beliefs, and maybe you need to reevaluate whether you know the absolute good for this other person who is not a fucking extension of you and is their own person.
Change is hard, Pat.
I will chime in with this.
Thanks, Moses, for showing up.
I will chime in with this, and this is my compromise to your argument. While I do disagree to the degree that I do, what I will say is, as a parent, I think that as I've said multiple times, I don't read, and I would not allow my children to read these books that are out there in the world, other than the book that we've discussed. The one book
the one
written by people
unknown.
What I will say is that exposing your children to this other idea, the sin of humanity, I think is what we're all talking about right here. The sin that exists in your local libraries, in your museums, that exists all around society, in your town. It's all around you.
So you just perpetuate weak children.
Essentially, yeah, exactly. I don't know what the word perpetuate
All right,
means.
make sure we're on the same.
I don't know what that means. There's a few words getting thrown around, and I'm not, but I think that you're agreeing with me. And yes, I think that it is good to expose the youth to this so that they can see that snake that exists all around us. Exactly. Yeah. The snake of Satan. Yeah. I didn't know I was saying it wrong, actually. I've been saying it this way for a long time.
Well, you've never read, so how would you know?
Well, that's just it. Thank you.
Could you spell the word and use it in a sentence?
I will in a little bit.
Sure, I can do that.
We'll do that after the podcast, though. I don't want to say too much.
He doesn't want to take up our time.
Yeah. So we'll have that conversation outside. But no, I do think that there is some merit there that you should expose your children to the sin of the world.
Yeah.
So that they can see it for themselves. You don't want to give them too much, because then they might be drawn towards it. This is how Satan works. He lures in
Everything in moderation.
Yeah, exactly. So you give them enough that they can see that sin out there. They know what to avoid, essentially, but never too much. And I will say there is some merit there. But in general, I do maintain that stance that, I'm anti-genocide. And, and I know that some people don't feel that way. And they do want to propagate these books like, Mein Kampf and, the dialogue of fascism and the Little Red Book and so on and so forth. All these books that were already mentioned. And I know that a lot of people believe that those books are good and that literature, and we should show it to kids, and kids should be reading Mein Kampf and so on and so forth. And about transgender fascists.
Man, TikTok, we're coming to the close of this segment.
Yeah.
You have 10 seconds to summarize your idea.
I just hope we can all stop reading.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you for using the best of your time. And I think, Pat, you did a good job, but if you have anything else to add, now is your time.
Yes, I will just very quickly say that I think that it is very telling that the exact segment of the population that was so vocally and adamantly opposed to the estate of Dr. Seuss willfully taking books off of the market because they did not feel as though the material accurately portrayed the world in a way that they felt the Dr. Seuss estate like they wanted to portray the world. There was depictions of race in there that were far, far outdated, and they willfully took that off the market. They decided that they were no longer going to profit off of those titles.
I love Dr.
All of
Seuss,
those,
just to be clear.
Yes.
I just actually
I
started
used to have
reading
the big
those the other
compendium
day.
when I was a kid.
That's the only world I see.
It's mostly about the pictures, and I do enjoy their different colors in that. It's fun.
And these are Dr. Seuss books. There are millions of copies of these books out in the marketplace. If you want them, they are there.
Yep.
You will not be paying above cover price. They're out there.
I think I have like 3 copies of fucking One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish in the house. Like, why do I have 3 copies of that?
I can't remember the exact name because it was a very long name, but it was Bartholomew something with the 500 something hats. It was one of my favorite Dr. Seuss stories when I was a kid.
Don't recall that one, but
It's not one of the most popular ones.
It's one of the earlier ones.
It's one of the earlier ones. And it was when I was a child, I had this big compendium of Dr. Seuss stories, and it was excellent. Well, this is all well and good. I'm glad we had this chat. We could revisit it in the future.
Oh, it was fun for me.
Let's play
I love
game.
you,
Let's
sweets.
talk about hypocrisy.
I don't know what that word means.
I don't know what that is either. That's out of my grasp.
Oh, good. We'll just go with it then. So, recently, you all know, like, the post-COVID, industry, a lot of people had to go work from home, remote, as it were. And a lot of those people had to use a little program called Zoom.
I've heard of that,
Yeah, like little video chat with
they got cool
all the
backgrounds.
people you don't want to talk to. You know how it goes? Well, Zoom, the company, just called all its employees back to work at the office.
That does sound like hypocrisy. I don't know what the word means, but it sounds like
Oh,
it.
baby, you're almost there. I mean, how wild is this shit? I mean, it's...
What do they do at the office? Like, because isn't it, like, the computer program's already made. What are you doing?
Working from home.
Like, how many people does it take to run a couple of towers of computers?
And listen, I don't know. I don't know the level of their workforce, their level of what... I mean, basically, you're running server control over a very large application right now. And which is hilarious because it's a fully computerized job.
Yeah.
Except for maybe the few people that are hands-on hardware people replacing burnt out hardware.
Yeah, that makes sense to be at the shop for because you have to.
Because you have to be on the hard.
But other than that, like, why do they have so many goddamn workers? What are they doing?
I gotta say though, for Zoom as a company was responsible for like the best fumble recovery in the history of technology.
You're not wrong.
That's true.
I mean, for Zoom, who I don't know who was. Did anyone actually use Zoom?
No, it was all Skype and there was some other application.
Skype was the ubiquitous term for a video conference or a video call. It was Skyping. It was Skyping or FaceTiming. That was it.
Yeah, FaceTime.
And Zoom came out of nowhere and ate up Skype's market share.
Yeah, exactly.
Skype has been around like 10 years before that was even really a fucking thing.
Crazy.
And I'm going to fully admit before I even say anything, I'm talking fully out of my ass. But Christina, her job fully utilizes Zoom, in which you have meetings of many, many, many people.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where they got a little more in. I think it was better suited to that as opposed to like Skype or something.
Because no one knew that the COVID thing was going to happen.
Yeah, it was like a three-way call when that was like, you'd go over someone's house as a kid and be like, oh, I have three-way. We could call our other friend who can't be here.
The old days.
Yeah.
And that's basically what the problem with Zoom is.
Yeah.
I use Zoom all the fucking time.
Oh yeah, Christina does every day, nonstop.
I use it more often than I even have to, just because I'd rather, like, I don't know, because I could share the screen. That's kind of more of
Zoom,
what it's about. But
WebEx, Microsoft Teams, like everybody has like whatever one that they use, but Zoom is definitely like the go-to,
the dominant one.
It's kind of become the paragon of that.
The idea that they're drawing people back to the office is a direct rebuttal to the notion that existed at the height of COVID, where they basically, and by they I just mean like pundits, fucking people,
whatever,
in general, saying like this will last for forever. We've shifted the paradigm, so on and so forth. And now that you've got the company that was at the pinnacle of that rode that fucking wave to its very peak, and the idea that they're drawing people back now and saying, you actually can't use our own product to do your job. We need you here at least 4 days a week, which might as well be the 5.
I want to jump in here real quick and correct some of this, because while it is true that they called the workers back in, it's workers within 50 miles of the Zoom office that need to come back in, and they must work there at least 2 days a week. So it's not a complete come back into the office.
Thank you for clarification.
It's still unnecessary.
I agree. And also, it's the reason why you've made, like, during COVID, why you made all of the money. But let me just find this real quick. This is from the Business Insider. Zoom shares rose sixfold in 2020 as sales surged after millions of workers were stuck at home because of COVID-19 restrictions. By 2021, though, revenue growth slowed and the stock plunged. The company has shed at least $100 billion in market value since then. This year, the stock has stagnated because Zoom's video conferencing service is needed less as businesses continue pushing staff back to the office. So it's actually it coincides with other businesses wanting to return to the office. We'll get to you, Pat, in a second. But I also wanted to read something real quick as well, if I can find it. Oh, it's the actual headline of this. Again, from the Business Insider. Leaked Zoom all hands. CEO says employees must return to offices because they can't be as innovative or get to know each other over Zoom.
I know that's true.
So the product isn't as great as they make it sound.
Yeah.
I mean, that definitely is him shooting his company right in the fucking foot. Don't say that. But yeah, it is the problem with Zoom. And I am mostly remote. So I work mostly from home. I go into the office about once a week just to see the people who are there in person.
My fiance Christina is the same way. Once a week she goes.
Exactly. Yeah. The people who go to an office value the face time with other people. That is why they are going to the office. And if those people are important to your career, then it is a good idea to go in once a week and get that interaction with them.
You can't replace an in-person meeting. I'll use a personal example. When I go to my prayer meetings, during COVID, we were only able to do this over Zoom, and I could not wait to get back to the church. It was important to me to be able to interact with people in a legitimate FaceTime kind of way.
Well, in that same respect,
share that time with them.
Like a corporate, when you work at a company and you're on like a floor, it becomes of sorts of family because you see them more often than you see your own, real family. So you have that camaraderie.
It's all about family when you're working for a company.
You want to have that touch that
if I was working for Zoom or for any one of your corporations, that would be my first thought, that this is a family.
Yes.
And that's why we're doing this together.
And we all know
care
from
about
Fast and the
each other.
Furious, nothing's more important than family.
Nothing's more important than family.
All about family.
It's all about family. Yeah.
Fuck, I Dominic Toretto's over here.
He's bald enough.
Have we been had?
I think not. Well, check his pockets for like street sharks.
I'll get over there shortly.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, here it comes, YouTube.
See, and this, here's the interesting thing. A podcast is actually the perfect place to demonstrate what is wrong with a Zoom meeting, is that it is basically one person at a time speaking to a room.
Yeah.
And in reality, if you are in a meeting, you are going to have little asides with
I would never interrupt anybody at a meeting, so you can stop right there.
You never.
He just did it.
No.
Oh.
Not.
Moses got the joke.
There's nothing funny about it.
All right, Dan, count it. We're done.
We're not done.
There's nothing funny about it.
But that's the problem with Zoom meetings, is that they are a one-way speaker stream.
Yeah.
The value of getting people into a room is that you actually get to hear from the extroverts and the introverts. I know that as an introvert coming up in my industry, I would be private messaging other people in the room who I trusted, whose opinions I valued. Before I opened my mouth, I would run an idea by them. And when they endorsed it, I would open my mouth and actually say it.
Right.
And this is not something that translates as well to a Zoom situation.
No, it doesn't.
So I do support people being fully remote. I do think that the people who go into offices are legitimately getting a little bit more out of the job, but, it's up to them to value that. If somebody values what they get from working at home higher than what they would get at the job, then absolutely. Your job doesn't fucking define you. Who you are as a person, who, it's a combination.
And your religion.
Of everything.
Your religion.
I can give
Yes,
an
and your
example-
relationship with our Lord Satan.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
thank you. Great. Jesus fuck Christ. I can give an example by proxy through my fiance, who largely, I'm not going to say we're offices, but they had a massive part of a major building in a major industrial park in New Jersey. Not industrial park, business park in New Jersey. Like a whole floor of a massive building. And post-COVID, everybody went more or less remote, and they've tried to bring people back. And there's also different levels. There are certain jobs where you have to be in office. Say if you deal with hardware or anything like that, obviously. And then you get into the weird mix of, which is kind of weird in any given job, management, which is where Christina kind of resides. So, you can manage, and essentially your day is just full of phone calls, text messages, Zoom calls, everything.
I would say this, if I'm and I don't know what that's like in that field because I work for God, but if I needed to yell at somebody who was working under me, let's say.
You do it through an angel.
Well, obviously, because I work for God, but I'm saying hypothetically, if I was working in a sinful corporation, as apparently you guys do, then
I'm going back to
I would say, you want to talk to me about it? I thought you were Jewish.
I am, but I'm not that Jewish.
Stay on task.
The company that I happen to work for, as the largest trade publisher, does not sell one book that you were talking about.
Well, we'll talk about that once again outside. I would say that
we're all talking about the Gutenberg
It's
Bible,
a euphemism for a gay thing, but I'm not allowed to do that because I'm a Christian.
You want to meet out back?
Oh, am I invited?
Maybe.
Keep it moving.
We'll talk about it.
Sweet.
It's got that Gutenberg Bible.
If
that
you've
fell off
got
the
a
truck.
Gutenberg Bible, really?
That's the one.
We're going back that far for it. Anyways, if you did have to hypothetically yell at somebody for, your employee, something like that, I'm going for the extreme, obviously, but you've got to yell at somebody who works, under you, or they did something wrong and it warranted that elevated level of speech. There's an element that's lost.
Oh, no,
when you're
100%.
doing it through a screen.
And if you'll
there's
let me-
something, and I think that's the essence of it, is that there's something that's
Yeah, how
lost.
do you manage people like that? Like manage a group of people if you're not even there watching them do whatever they do?
You guys are absolutely correct. There
God
is
is always
something
watching.
that is lost. And it just
God's there, yeah.
basically boils down to the general internet conundrum we've come into, where everybody now has the loudest voice when they don't have to be, they're just represented as like an icon online. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes away the responsibility of whatever you do or say.
There are times where, Christina, it's like some things need to be said face to face.
Like you're fired.
Holy shit.
Well, that's definitely one of them. Yeah.
That's the only one I can really think of.
Yeah.
How do you really sexually harass somebody?
But it's
through
like it is
You know
frustrating.
how you do that.
Like, look at Twitter. The way people interact on Twitter, they feel so fucking free, but it means nothing.
No.
So, like,
It's called X.
When the work shut the fuck up.
I feel both of those.
I'm gonna kill everyone in this room. But
You can do it over Zoom.
we don't have video capability yet.
It wouldn't be as effective.
God damn it.
No, go on.
Oh, you son. But the internet gave, for better and for worse, everybody who didn't have a voice. Now everybody has a voice, and they feel real proud and bop your chest real hard that I can say anything I want on the internet without repercussion. And that even translates into the corporate world, because I've seen people say shit to Christina, and Christina's just like, okay, you're coming into work tomorrow because I'm firing your fucking ass.
Well, now she has to go into work, too.
Yeah, but she'll gladly do it because Spike's an amazing thing.
And
Man,
You
everybody
set up a
wants
monitor in the office where you go to meet her. And it's just her on the monitor in her
oh,
living
that's
room.
brilliant. Oh, I would be so pissed
That's
off
the
yet
ultimate fuck
appreciating
you.
so much if that's how I ever I got fired.
I didn't show up to fire you, but you needed to be here.
I know you traveled an hour and a half away, and your kid's sick.
We all fucking know it. People get cocky as shit with what they say on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, because it's that level of separation. You get to say something not to somebody's fucking face.
Oh,
You
yeah.
think you're fucking tough
Yeah.
as shit.
Everybody's really big on the internet.
Absolutely.
I agree with the sentiment of what you're saying, which is that
Yeah.
people are just fucking
Yeah.
big when they don't actually
Keyboard
have to
bully or
look in
keyboard
your own
activist,
fucking
what is it
eyes.
called?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's a fucking big man when they don't have to face the
One of
repercussions.
those, what is it, a keyboard?
Keyboard
warrior.
Whatever. But, like, it's kind of the truth. You get that level of separation. It gives you that level of protection.
Yeah.
No.
Man.
Whereas, like, and that's like one of the that is the dark side of the internet to me. Is like
Yeah.
people get to say
all dark
whatever
sides.
they want to say without like a friend punching him in the mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a slippery Silk Road.
Can you imagine how many people the Lawnmower Man could kill these days?
Oh my god.
So
Oh my god. Just
That's a
just death by
conversation.
polygons.
I gotta watch that again.
Wow. We should just watch that.
Oh, yeah, can we do an episode just on the lawnmower?
Watch it right now.
Jesus Christ. That's
Well,
a great idea.
I'll tell you what. Why don't we finish it up? We got Pat here. Why don't we tell a little story about Colombia?
Oh, man.
And there's a particular point which happened right at the beginning,
Yeah. All right.
but it'll lead further
Yeah.
into.
So I'll start this off.
Yeah.
Since we were going there to visit my family.
Yeah.
This is a family of Sweetback, obviously. And
yeah, any of the Italians that ended up in South America, we don't talk to.
yeah, that's fair. And they all read good books.
They read to each other over Zoom.
Wow, I don't even know where to begin right now. I got so carried away with the other entanglements that we've had this evening. But my goodness,
Let's start with landing, and then something hilarious happens.
we landed, and so
Cartagena.
Yep, we were in Cartagena, Colombia, and I was the only person there as a proper Colombian.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And,
the rest of us are pasty
Or
as fuck.
any kind of.
Yeah, or any version thereof.
Even
yeah.
an improv.
You would be the closest, Pat. Yeah. At
least you have
that
some
type
sort
blood
of,
runs deep, you know?
Yeah,
Classical Latin-based.
I wouldn't want them to think that my grandfather moved there in the 40s.
No. We'll ignore that part of history. So we've got a Justin, we've got a Pat, and we've got a Frank, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep.
So we get out of the terminal, and when you walk outside of Cartagena Airport, especially at this time,
It's much nicer now these days.
It's much nicer now,
Yeah.
but you've got a myriad at the time. They've grown back, a long ways. But you've got a lot of taxi drivers out there. They're all kind of hammering to get you in their cab because they want that money. So we go with the loudest guy.
Loudest charisma wins.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
do have to say, to set the scene for anyone who has not been to...
we need
Please,
these
please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So an airport in Cartagena is not what you are thinking of right now.
Oh, it's not an American airport.
As an American, going to literally any airport, even the rinky-dink...
Which is amazing because this is the new airport.
This is their nicest airport.
I was thinking Air
No, I
America.
take that back. Bogota is a fancy airport, but it's so fucking heavily guarded that it's still very weird.
Well, no.
Colombian airports are
Right.
very different.
But the
It also
first time I went, it was the old airport. This time was the new Cartagena
This was the nice
airport.
one.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So imagine if you're walking out of an airport anywhere in America, you're expecting like a parking garage, a vast parking lot, or something. There. No, you walk out of the terminal into a fucking neighborhood that just happens to have an airport on that street.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
correct. Yes.
They just put them where they can fit them.
Yeah. So imagine like at the end of your cul-de-sac was the fucking
Yeah,
airport.
exactly
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Exactly right.
Yeah. And you can also just pick up fares there.
Yeah. Just to
work
set
faster.
the stage a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's fair. That's more than fair.
This story is going to be mostly tied into your reaction. Frank's not here to say his part, but he and I had been there a couple times.
So we walk out into this a cul-de-sac. Let's go with.
Yeah.
And so now we're just out here in this neighborhood, and there's a myriad of cab drivers who are basically they're trying to get these fares. You know, they see that
They're like cab driver buskers. They're trying to win you over with charisma.
Yeah.
and,
They see that we're Americans, so on
I'm the
and so
best.
forth.
I'm the best. I can get you out of here the quickest.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're all vying for it. There's maybe 15 of them there, something
say.
like that.
Yeah, it's a long line.
Yeah. So the loudest one, he gets it just because he's shouting over everybody else.
Yeah.
So I go, this guy.
Yeah.
And they're all cursing him off and what have you.
Yeah. No,
So we jump into this guy's cab and we get to going. I give him the address of where we're headed to. And the conversation immediately, so I sit in the front seat and you guys all pile into the back.
Yeah, we were 3 deep in the back.
Yeah. And we're in a tiny little fucking South American car. They don't drive giant vehicles there like we do here. So he immediately, I would say within 30 seconds of being in the vehicle, he goes, "What are you doing here?"
He started dressing down, trying to figure out what our goals
Well, yeah,
were.
he established that we were Americans.
Yes.
And he was like, Americans, you know what you
He
call
was like American, and they got a quasi-Colombian dude that quasi speaks the language.
Right.
So he says
this guy was pretty slick.
Oh,
because
very slick,
he's basically like, all right, you all are Americans. I know why Americans come here.
Exactly,
They come here for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
They come here for the women, and they come here for the cocaine.
Yeah. And that's what, and I said to him, he was like, he asked that question. And I said to him, no, my family lives here. And these are my friends.
Right,
and he looks at me right in the eyes.
Yep.
And I remember, I don't know if you guys could really
I was
take
tracking
this
this whole
in.
thing, yes.
But yeah, he looks me right in the eyes with these it's like fuck you eyes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you're going to lie right to my fucking face.
No, because he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're blowing my mark I had on you."
And
fucks."
I was like, it's my family that lives here.
Yeah.
He's like, no, really? And I'm
like,
no,
no,
really?
my fucking family lives
my
here."
literal family lives here.
Yeah.
This is where they live.
Yeah.
I know that I'm a gringo, but my actual family lives in the city, and they've been here longer than you've been alive. And he's like, okay.
No, he did.
Let's just go with
'cause
that lie.
He still pulled his Omega move on us.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this whole time that you are having this conversation with him, he is weaving in and out of traffic.
I wish you could have come when they had the dirt bike taxi.
Oh, those are great. Yeah, you still see some of those. But yeah, so we continue driving. He gives that brief reprieve where he's like, okay, let's pretend that you have family
We will
here.
play this game.
I can tell that you have family here because of how terrible your Spanish is.
Yeah.
So you clearly must be a Colombian person.
Yeah.
So he gives it that brief pause, and he goes, so, reach into the glove box.
Yep.
And I go, something along the lines of, and you guys will have to correct me because I was so out of my element.
yeah.
But I'll give you my memory of it. And I
Say your piece and we'll each
I had the
revisit.
sentiment of like, no, I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, do it. Reach into the glove box. I'm like, no, because I kind of have a feeling this is what I'm going to find in
Not
there.
you.
It's like,
You knew.
No, reach
You
into
knew.
the glove box. Yeah.
We all knew.
So eventually, and I feel like at one point in this, I did look back into the back seat, and I'm sorry to throw you under the bus on this one, Pat, but I looked back, and you were the only
I
one
was
who was
directly
like,
behind
who
you.
was cool as a cucumber.
Well, because I've been there with you before.
Pat, you were ghost white, and Frank was like fully transparent at this moment. And I'm just like, I guess I'm gonna reach into the glove box
I heard
because
what's
you're
going
really
on, and I'm
pressing
like,
me.
oh, there's some level of cocaine
There's,
coming
you
out.
know, it's gonna be something that we're not gonna imbibe in right now.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't expect a fucking golf ball.
And that's what it was. So I pop open the glove box, and sure enough, it is a softball size yellow
No,
ball
full
of
yellow.
cocaine. It's
Pure
like stuff. It's not
cocaine.
even like wrapped in
Nope,
anything.
nope.
It's just like
They don't have to. The humidity keeps it together.
Yep, it does.
For those of you who have read the Bible and know something about how cocaine is in its purest form, it is yellow and keeps itself in its own unit. You don't even need to wrap it. That's what was there.
Yeah.
It was just a ball of pure
And
cocaine.
then it became show and tell. Pass it around. Show the class.
And I said to him, I was like, I see that there is cocaine there. He's like, take it out. And at this point, I've obviously taken the bait, so I just have to like follow through to a degree.
In it to win it.
And I told him, I was like, I'm not going to buy it.
Right.
It's not going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Now, for our listeners, I am a good God-fearing man, which means that whatever the good Lord put on this planet for us to enjoy, I am about those things. But it doesn't mean that I am about breaking the laws of man either.
There's a little bit of-
because I don't want to be in a Colombian prison.
There's some other chemicals in that cocaine, so you're right to stay away from it.
That's fair. So basically,
So one thing I want to interject.
Yes, please.
Because I feel like we're underselling this man.
You might be right.
I remember being fucking terrified because, like, literally, it's like the thing that Americans think about Colombia is that
This was that
somebody
stereotype playing true.
Literally
Thought it was
somebody
the coffee.
trying to like peddle cocaine
Force
is
you to do
going to
cocaine.
murder you. So it's like, all right, we stepped outside, we walked 10 feet, got into a car with the murderer.
Yeah, 100% that is true. We are 100 feet from the plane, and we've been offered an amount of cocaine that would satisfy New Jersey for a month.
Yeah. So I think what you're underselling is this guy's salesmanship. He was committed. He was charismatic.
Yeah.
He was really giving it all. Like he obviously had his spiel. The one thing that you left out is that he asked you your name.
Yes.
And you said that your name was Peter.
Yeah.
And he looked at you and he said, "You're kidding me.
Name.
That's my name too."
Oh, you're right.
And you didn't play along with that at all. You were like, come on, man. You were like, don't piss on my
completely
leg and
forgot
tell me it's raining. Sort of. They're like, all right, I'm not that much of a rube. Let's move on with your pitch.
I know what's happening.
I just want to interject.
That's funny. I
And
did forget
meanwhile,
that.
this
You're
is
right.
all absolutely true. By this point, I had the golf ball of cocaine in my hand in the back seat.
I feel like in retrospect, you missed a good opportunity to just be like, my name is John Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Well, this is what
He
you need to
would've
go
went
with.
with
That's
it.
the Colombia.
This guy also dropped us off at the wrong address.
Yeah.
We were because you didn't buy the goddamn cocaine.
But that was all right. So there's more for that.
Yes. Yeah.
But before this, so I will give it to this guy.
Yeah.
He kept up his shtick.
Oh, dude.
The entire time.
Yeah.
He was like, no. These are guys who are here to party. They want to.
He made up his mind.
They want to
before
do
he saw
blow
Yeah.
and get their dicks wet,
Yeah.
and that's my whole pitch. So that's what I'm going to work the whole time.
Married to it.
I ain't changing it.
No. He was all about it.
Yeah.
Straight up, fully.
He was like, no, this is my pitch. It works.
Yeah.
I know that if you put something in somebody's hands, they are far more likely to actually buy it.
Yeah.
That's why he
And then
passed
he
it
was
around.
like,
He's like,
you know what? No.
Yeah.
That is retail sales 101.
101,
Put the
yeah.
thing in somebody's hand, and they are more likely to
Yeah.
purchase it. And he did that with a ball of cocaine.
Yeah.
The
We
cojones.
passed that bowl of cocaine all around the vehicle.
yeah.
Probably got a little higher just by holding it.
At one point, he said, he was like, I was trying to hand it back to him. I was like, yo,
remember.
give it to
I
me. I'll
remember,
hand it back to him.
yeah.
And he was like, no, you should smell it.
I know.
And I'm
I
like,
distinctly
yes,
remember that. Yeah.
I know what smelling cocaine is.
In fairness,
I've been down that river
yellow
before.
cocaine does have a smell that the cocaine that we get here.
It was.
It has.
Don't get me wrong.
a
It wasn't
good-
the best
it-
cocaine,
I'm
it was
aware.
very good
Yeah.
cocaine.
Yeah.
But.
Word.
Word. Cat here.
Furious
Cat wants
George
cocaine, yeah.
is so. Yeah. We
Old habits
did
die
not
hard.
take the bait because you can get pulled over at any moment in
Oh yeah.
Cartagena, Colombia.
Yeah.
You pull out of your car for inspection.
Yeah.
And
If
we
this-
had at least enough sense to be like, no.
I will say
literally the next time that we stepped into a taxi
Yep,
in Cartagena, that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally, we got from the airport to the hotel.
Yep.
This was our cab drive that way.
Yep.
And then the next time we stepped into a cab, we got stopped by the cops. and
Government.
searched.
Yeah. Government stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I did not have my passport on
You
there.
didn't have your.
Yeah.
You didn't have your passport.
Comically, I'm the only fucking Colombian amongst everybody here.
So the guy who chose just the loudest, most boisterous motherfucker outside of the Cartagena airport to be like, yeah, this is the guy who's gonna drive us. This
Isn't
guy.
it amazing that I've been there literally a dozen times by myself,
Yeah.
and yet I'm still here on this podcast? Imagine how those other journeys go.
Justin, we're in when we got pulled over by the cops that
Yes.
time. Were you doing the mental notes in your head of like, all right, how much cash do I have on
Oh,
me?
100%.
And do I think it's enough that I'm gonna
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that we're gonna get out of
Yeah,
this?
I was doing like, this is what I have to pay this person in Thailand. How much do I have to pay here to get out of this
I just
situation?
skate by. I ain't never paid a bribe in
And because
Colombia.
you were saying, it's like, oh, I don't have my paperwork on
Yeah.
me. Like, straight up, like, what?
Yeah.
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 The advice that I had read online beforehand, which I had actually
Yeah.
looked up, was just like everything that's in your pockets, just be ready to give up.
Well,
Oh,
no,
yeah. That's why I don't carry my passport.
Whether it's there, and listen, the passport game got me away in Japan,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
I don't
Oh,
carry a
man.
passport when I walk around.
I gotta
Colombia.
say, and since you're Colombian, your passport would be easier to sell to somebody
yeah.
who wanted to pass off as an
Absolutely,
American.
Yeah. There's a lot of spics who look like me down there.
If I had a nickel for every time that I turned to a random person in Cartagena and called them Peter, I would have been able to buy those
Even
cops up and
Colombians
down.
get confused. God damn it.
And judging by the name of that taxi driver, I would have been right 90% of the time. Nothing but
Every
Peters
time,
down there.
Every time.
that was a great. How long ago? That was a fucking amazing.
A lot of years ago now, yeah.
That was a long time.
Yeah.
We'll say it better. 6-8 years ago,
Something like that, yeah. Every
Well,
time that I go
it was
there
after
now,
the
I
first Japan trip, wasn't it?
what's
I
that?
don't know. I can't.
That was a long time ago, yeah. But I went to
might have
Colombia
been.
for the first time a long
I
time
was
before
kind
that.
of gonna go on that trip, but I forget. I don't know what came
I
out.
want to say at least 6 years ago.
Well, we should all go in March.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll buy cocaine. I don't know.
Well,
Let's see how it plays
If
out.
I can include a very quick interstitial, I've been there several times with you and
Yes.
your family when your father
Many
was
times.
alive, and post that and everything. Just walking around in the very obvious tourist traps.
Yeah.
You have these younger folk who have these trays of like sodas and stuff like that, and maybe cigarettes and whatever. Like, and then they'll see you as like a white person, so you're either American or European, and they'll look at you like, oh, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, and give you
Yeah.
like the wink,
Yeah.
the Coca wink cola.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Even when I was there, I was just there, what was it? It was in like April or something like that.
Yeah, you went a couple months ago.
And it's like the thing about it is, it's like you'll be more identifiable than me because you guys are noticeabably more white.
Well,
than
listen,
I
if
am.
you're white, because there's not
Yeah.
very many like
But there-
true mestizo white.
There's
like,
no
Blanco people
mistaking
there.
us for anything other than white.
We're either European or American.
There are Colombians who are as white as you guys, but they ain't just walking around on the street.
No,
they're in a car.
They are the
driven around.
They are the highest level of like white.
Exactly.
Most minuscule amount of mestizo in their blood, and they are the ruling class.
I was walking down the fucking sidewalk there because I had nothing to do.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I left my hotel and I just went on like a fucking 10-mile walk, basically.
Yeah.
And I would be, no joke, I'm walking on like a fucking sidewalk, and it is a beautiful Caribbean landscape.
It's gorgeous. It's absolutely so gorgeous.
You're on this like ancient sidewalk, built by the Spaniards, the conquistadores.
It's the old fortified wall.
It's right on the water. There is constantly a beautiful breeze coming off of it. Even on the hottest day, you can count on the water having a breeze.
Yeah, it was like that.
And
even still, I would be walking down that fucking sidewalk, and there would be some motherfucker, and you would spot him from a mile away.
No,
and like that country has like, there's a very clear breakdown, the same way as we have here with like there's a way that you can read another person.
Being a mix, but there it counts for something.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm walking down the sidewalk, and there will be a motherfucker. He's 600 feet away.
And also, you're tall as fuck.
I'm noticeable because I'm tall,
yeah.
and the tattoos give you away.
Yeah.
And there will be a dude who's fucking 600 feet away,
yeah.
and he's like, hola, hola, hola. And I'm ignoring him, and he's like, hello, hello. And he takes the time out of his day. This guy's working for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
And he walks all the way the fuck up to me. And sometimes they don't know exactly what their sales pitch is going to be. They're trying to feel it out. And they'll walk up to me, and I'm ignoring them the whole fucking time because I'm just on a goddamn walk.
I remember one distinct story which you may be leading towards. I very distinctly remember.
And this one motherfucker, but this is like typical of the exchange. And this is why they also encourage you, like, there's a number of beautiful places to go. I go to like parts of town where, like, basically where you guys wouldn't necessarily go by yourself. I'll put it that way. But like, I just walk around.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
So like, I'm in that part of the beach essentially where you wouldn't normally find yourself, and I purposefully go there because I want to go and experience those things because I do take pride in being like Colombian, even though I'm a fucking gringo, clearly.
But you've done a lot of work to actually learn the language. So
I've done the thing.
Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah.
You really did a lot of work.
Yeah.
And good on you, man.
And like, not for nothing, my Spanish sucks, and I am a gringo. I am an American and proud of it, but...
when your father passed, you had to do the work, and you did the work.
Exactly.
So don't sell yourself fucking
That's
short.
fair, and I'll take that.
You did the fucking work for that shit.
But I'll be damned if fucking somebody is going to treat me like a full-on fucking tourist.
Well, no, 100%.
And they finally get all the way up to they have like sand walls, basically, to keep the sand from getting into the street and what have you. And the guy walks all the way up. And he's like, and he doesn't know what his angle is. Like, he doesn't know what he's going to sell to me.
No.
Because, like, he's already been pitching.
Conundrum.
He's been pitching beer the whole time. And I'm like, got one.
Yep.
Already drinking all day. Like, I'm on vacation because I'm exactly what you're calling me. I'm a fucking tourist.
I got my cerveza al aguilo.
Yeah.
And, you want to sell rum? Oh, I got a bottle of rum in my pocket,
this fucking dude finally walks up to me. And it is typical because, again, like, there is an element there where it's very similar to America. You can tell a lot about, like, a person's station in life by their skin color.
Absolutely.
And so, like, this person is very dark. He's like a full-on black man.
And that's unfortunately still
just how it is.
To this day.
Bottom line is that he's reading me as he's reading me. He's probably right 90% of the time, and I know exactly what he's about.
This is a mixed motherfucker.
Yeah. And he just doesn't know what to sell me. And he finally gets up to like this rock wall. So now we're like fully engaged with each other. And this man is like, I know that he's wasted his time. So I feel very bad about that because like he does have to make a living. And he goes, what about suntan lotion? I'm like, nigga, are you serious?
That's a funny insult.
Nothing but respect for these guys.
Oh, the hustle never ends.
Yeah, they're out there on the hustle, and as soon as somebody is like, when they're like, I'm not going to make money off this motherfucker, so I'm going to call him a motherfucker to his face. And he ain't gonna do shit.
Let's play this game now.
If I can say one thing, they're fully on the hustle. They're not doing the shit you find in like Italy and Spain and shit like that with like the fucking pickpocket shit. They're on the hustle to get
They're on a hustle, not a grift.
The picky pocket.
It's a different kind of game.
It's a game. Yeah.
And I like that because half the time they would crack me the fuck up and I'm like, dude, fuck, that was hilarious as shit.
Yeah.
I'll give you whatever the fuck I have right now.
I'll pay somebody for making me laugh, but it's got to be the right kind of humor.
No, 100%. And like, there wasn't many, but there was like I'll say on each trip, like 2 to 3 people that like made me double over laughing just because of the ridiculousness of like their play.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
well, that reminds me.
Legit.
I don't know if we ever talked about this on the podcast, but it reminds me of when we were there with my father.
Yeah.
And we were just like sitting down in a square, like in like the touristy part of town in the old city.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's just like people partying.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful time. It's beautiful. And there's a lot of like street actors, I guess you would call them.
Yeah.
You know, they're hustlers, but they're doing it the right way.
Buskers, grifters, whatever you want to call them.
And this so my dad's chilling there, and he's like, at this time, he's like a 75-year-old man.
Yeah.
And a fucking mime comes up.
Oh,
and the guy's like the same age as my father.
Thank God you're telling this story.
Yeah.
This story's so fucking
So this
funny.
mime is also like a 75-year-old man.
Yeah.
And my dad's just like chilling, just like loving his life. He's back in his home country. We're all having a great time.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of us. And
Your
this
father was
fucking
super
mime-
proud to like not only have you, but like to just show his country.
Oh, yeah,
to, like,
exactly. We were all having a ball.
I will
That's
also
fun.
say that I feel like just because I don't know that you've mentioned your father that much on this podcast, and I will just say that he was one of the most charismatic people
Oh, my
I have
God. Yeah,
ever
absolutely.
met. Just effortless.
I'm going to piggyback on Ibra. Somehow taught me so much without coming across as a teacher.
Yeah.
He was just a man of the world.
A smart
You
and
know-
a charming motherfucker.
Oh,
for
he
real.
was
Yeah.
so charming.
You could be taught a lot just by being cognizant of the effect that how he was speaking to you, how he was carrying himself, affected how you felt about him.
Yeah, yeah.
He
And one of
changed
those,
the
like-
way I felt about myself.
Yeah. I consider him, for me, he's like up there in a Sean Connery kind of category without
Kind
beating
of.
the women.
In a
you
way,
know?
in a way.
So at this particular square, so we're all sitting down, we're
Yeah.
eating, we're
Yeah.
drinking, he's dancing, you know, with random fucking people, tying in with the charm that was there.
I feel like
Somehow he was randomly dancing with,
I
with
feel
other
like I
women.
know where you're going with this story. Yeah.
And this fucking mime comes up. The mime's also an old man. And my dad's
That
got like
fucking
no
mime.
hair, right? He's
Yeah,
like, he's just
yeah.
got like the, what do they call it? Like a horseshoe kind of thing?
He has kind of like the Friar Tuck kind of
he's
thing.
got no
going.
hair.
Yeah,
you know, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And this fucking mime comes up behind him, so he doesn't even know that he's there. And this mime is
This
like,
is my first trip with you guys. Oh
he's
God.
miming out that he's lifting, like, so he like walks up right behind my dad, and he pretends to lift up like a single hair. And he's like observing it, you know. My dad's unaware, and he's just like looking at it, and like I see it, you know.
Yeah,
he's just
we
like,
all
looking
saw
at it, and he's observing, and then he pulls out his mime scissors, and he's like, "Let me trim this up for you," and it's like a whole fucking to do. And then finally, Dad becomes aware, and he turns around, and he's like, this guy's fucking hilarious, and he tips the guy. But that was comedy. That was worth it, you know.
Yeah.
That's a hustler who's doing it right.
Oh,
you
that's
know?
legitimately
It's innocent.
very funny.
Yeah. Oh, it was hilarious. Yeah, it's hilarious.
And it was fucking great because like that was the first trip I took with you. I think you had gone before with like your half siblings and stuff like that. That was my first trip with you guys. And your father, like I always respect your father. Like he was this Colombian business dude who was just so laissez-faire about life and shit like that. And it was hilarious, but he always had gems to drop on your fucking ass.
Oh my God, nonstop. Yeah.
So like we got the opportunity to go to Colombia that first time. And I mean, we could do a whole podcast about this, so I'm not going to like ruin.
We'll save it. I was about to go off on another
side.
side story, but
But no, we got to save that because like it's really we could do like a whole fucking thing on that.
Yeah.
But your father was gangster as fuck.
Oh yeah, that was a fun ass fucking.
Because also he was like, you guys stand here, and then I'm gonna go into the back of this gold place.
Yeah.
And now you guys are going to an island to get out of my hair.
Yeah, you kind of didn't know what was happening. It's a lot like the cab journey, actually. You just didn't really know what was going on around you, and you felt like you were in a little bit of danger.
And your father,
but you also like felt really good, like you were having an adventure.
Yeah, at that point, your father's like, I need to like meet my connects, and I need these children to be out of my hair.
It was straight up like that. Like I just kind of need all of you out of my hair.
Yeah.
You know,
There's also
the hair that he didn't have.
There's also a lot to be said of a man who made a lot of money legitimately in American pharmaceutical sales.
Yeah.
Having the self-awareness and the awareness of how fucking funny the joke was every single time he delivered it, where he was just like, I'm an old Colombian man, and he goes, I've made a lot of money in pharmaceuticals. And then he would laugh
Never lost.
and laugh. And it was just like, yeah, that is a funniest joke that you could tell right now, and you know it.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. Oh my God.
It was the best thing.
Those were good journeys. I can't wait to go back. We should all go in.
And we are, and we will.
March or April, and I would love for all of you to go.
It'll happen.
No.
But hey, guys, I think we had a good podcast.
Well, bad.
We're due.
I don't know if we really settled the books are bad debate or not, but
I'll tell you one thing I'm not doing when I get out of here is reading.
well,
Good for you, buddy.
So,
Good for
I
you.
think we're all
It
set
wouldn't
for another
benefit
night.
you anyway.
Well, I don't know. No, I might. Now that you say that.
Well, if you're going to read one thing, I'll say to open up the New York Times this weekend. In the travel section, they have a lovely article about how to spend a perfect 3-day weekend in Cartagena, Colombia. Thank you to.
Do they have cocaine there?
I believe that they do. Though
They're
the New
known
York
for their
Times
coffee.
omits it.
Well,
for some reason.
I'll tell you this, that I've been to a lot of places, but a lot of them bore me, and I love to stay awake when I'm on a vacation. And I think that maybe Colombia has the things that I need to facilitate that.
they are a high energy,
Yeah.
type of people.
Yeah,
Great
absolutely.
coffee.
Great coffee.
Great coffee.
Yeah,
That's what they're known
absolutely.
They do have very good coffee.
Yeah, if you just go to Cartagena and pick out the taxi with the driver who makes you the most uncomfortable, I'm sure that you will have a great time.
That's certainly true. I've skied the slopes in Switzerland, but nothing has ever been better than Colombia.
Then the beaches of Cartagena.
Dan, please save us.
Guys, what am I to do with this podcast on YouTube? We got a whole bunch
Let it
of.
ride, Dan.
Oh my God! I don't think my contact in YouTube is going to answer my emails when.
We
I
didn't
got a
even
guy in Colombia for
we
you.
didn't even get into Alicia Martinis.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Oh, I'm interested now. Let's talk about those.
Next time.
Sound good.
These boys of mine.
Papa Dan.
That's my mama.
Well, if you did enjoy this podcast, be sure to subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review. Check us out on YouTube and Rumble. Make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. We are at Loud and Drunk on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, if you've got the spare scratch, if you haven't spent it on cocaine in Colombia,
Be more and less responsible with your money.
Spend it on cocaine.
$5 a month, less than a cup of
$2.
coffee. You could really boost us up.
exactly. Become a Loud and Drunk supporter at loudanddrunk.locals.com and patreon.com/loudanddrunk. Moses, we had a nice little conversation. Any closing thoughts?
I'm going to go back home tonight and open up all those books that I was pressing the cocaine in just to get all the moisture out, and I'm going to snort the fuck out of that.
Great. You are a walking community guideline strike. Why do I let you speak? Justin, closing thoughts.
Hey, don't be afraid of books. Let your kids face adversity.
And now we'll zoom over to Sweetness over there.
Yes, that is correct. Thank you. It was wonderful being here. This is Sweetback. I represent Medellin ski trips. And if you've got the flow, we've got the blow. I would love to see you.
Oh, wow.
What am I?
Sweetback, we got to talk in a moment.
It's almost as if you guys want us to get thrown off YouTube.
I just
what
want
you
to see
mean.
something happen.
Just open. We open it with Moses making fapping
You guys
noises.
told me you had allergies.
I do. I'm allergic to not doing blow.
No.
And Pat, thank you so much for joining us. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Yes, I do, and you can read all about them in the book that I'm going to write about how, after the fall of capitalism, we need to raise an economy based on how many books you read. We need to model. Book it is the future of the economy. And it shouldn't just be for personal pan pizzas. You should be able to pay for everything from your electricity to your hookers just by reading books.
Believe
Hookers and
people.
hooks and
Believe-
hooks.
Listen, I'm moved. I'm gonna spread my wealth between pizzas and hookers and
Yeah.
books and all these things.
I think I know what my next tattoo is going to be.
I think I just started reading.
Ooh. Makes me feel a weird way. Dan, take us out of here.
So, for Moses, Justin, Sweetness over there, and Pat, thank you so much for joining us. I'm producer Dan. And fellas, let's have a toast to our audience. Thank you for joining us.
Salud.
And
Good
until
job,
next
guys.
time, this is Loud and Drunk.
Yeah!
You the real heroes.
Woo!